Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another stream on the channel, Aviator 268, as we take the 737 over to London Heathrow. Pleasant good evening to all of you. Happy weekend to all of you. Hopefully you are doing well. It is not morning over in Amsterdam. Well, maybe it is, but not this late in the morning where it's sunrise. But we're going to take it over to Heathrow in the daylight, just so we can have a little bit to see on the outside. If it's your first time here, want to say welcome to you. If it's you're a regular here, thank you so very much for remaining with us, and I hope that you're enjoying the content and that you'll stick around for many more to come. Good evening, Gavin. How are you? Can't be dry yet. We ain't start boarding, so you gotta go over to the fountain in the terminal and see if you get some water, man. welcome, guys. It is good to have you with us. We are sitting in the PMDG B737-800 for Microsoft 2024, and as you see connected, the gas truck, Jet A truck. I can't talk now. The Jet A truck is connected and is getting ready to board the fuel. So we're going to commence that real quick as we get ourselves prepared for this flight. Departure time is just about top of the hour, so let's jump right into it. It is now 32 minutes after. But let's jump right into the flight deck. Pay no attention to this timing right here because we are not flying the correct time. You're gonna see a red number flying right here. Let's see if it comes up. It's gonna be minus some hundreds of minutes. See, oh, minus 70. All right, cool. So it's all right, great. So upstairs we're all good. Everything is set up like it's supposed to. We'll keep the sign off. Aircraft is already prepped. We should turn on the restart fans and we're good to go. Down in the CDU, let's see what our flight plan is saying, and we're looking at our flight plan. It's telling us we need for the fuel today. Fuel is 6.8 tons, so we're gonna put that there, 6820, and we'll start fueling, and we'll see that begin there to go up. While that is happening, let's go ahead and get the aircraft set up. We are at Eham, which is our reference airport, and let's see if this works. Delta 49 is where we're sitting. Yes, it works. Great, good. Route, Eham goes in the origin, and let's do a flight plan request. Send brief route, and we're just going to request a route for right now. I'm a first class passenger. Unfortunately, Gavin, this airplane does not have first class. So unless you just want to sit by the door, unless you want to sit by the door, this aircraft does not have any first class cabin. It is actually a high density cabin where it's one class. So pick your spot. You want to sit right here or by the window? In our favorite bird, what's going on, George? So hold on, is you trying to tell me so your favorite, the 737 is your favorite bird? That's what you're trying to say? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The 737. I mean, I like the 737, but I've really been on the Airbus train for right now. So it's not bad. It's not bad. But let's see how it works. I've been having some issues with the aircraft in a sense where it's a bit twitchy for me when I'm landing, especially. So let's see how well I can handle it on the stream. It's a lot easier in the Airbus. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's my settings. I need to probably change that or check that. So we'll see how that works. Scare bus, he says. Oh my goodness. George, I thought we were better than that, man. I thought we were better than that. All right, let's get back into the flight deck. Here we go. So uplink is ready, so let's load. And I need to get my 737 checklist out. Stand by 1 second, guys. All right, so I have my checklist ready. That's good. Yo, what's going on? What's going on, PMG Express CA? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. All right, so aircraft is being boarded there. The fuel is coming on, right? Cool. All right, so let's now do our departure. Today, we're going to depart off of runway 09. I think in the real world, it's runway 36, but we're not about to do that long taxi. If anybody's familiar with Eham is one of those airports that has one of the longest taxis you can find. So if you have to go over the runway 36 left, we're taxiing and it's gonna be a ridiculously long taxi, and we're not about to do that. So we take runway 09 for departure today, and the Indria to November is what we're gonna be using. And we can see that here on our Idrid rather, to November off of runway 09. And then that will connect us to London is landing east. So we do ILS 9 left with Logan 2 Alpha, 2 Hotel. It's via, let's see, I think it's via Bovingdon or Lambourne. All right, so it's via Lambourne. So we take it via Lambourne, and let's double check that. Guy says I'm not taking care of my passengers. That's not cool, Gavin. Of course, I'm taking care of my passengers. I take care of you to get there. You have to get the flight attendant to ask that one. Oh my goodness, George is not. Look at the aircraft, guys. It is not a. I guess you can call yourself a frequent flyer. That's different, but we're not in a 2-cabin class airplane. So sorry, Gavin. Sorry. All right, let's look at our legs page. Take it off and make a left over to Vala, then to Idrid, and over to Logan, Lambourne, and there we go. It will be an even shorter flight if the airport switches to Waesto. Then we'll make it even shorter flight. All right, cool. Fuel is on board, so we can release that from there and get that out of the way. And then we will begin boarding. Jump seat privileges. I suppose if you want to come in the jump seat, you can do that. I see. This is true. This is very true. But I don't think you want Gavin up in the flight deck. If Gavin comes in the flight deck, we're probably going to be, you know how the aircraft does, we can do the wing wave, the airplane wave. Yeah, we probably have that. Gavin's going to have us up there rolling. And then you're going to be feeling all these bumps. So we don't want to do that. Do not let Gavin in the flight deck. You do not want that. Oh my goodness. All right, so you can activate this and execute. So our flight plan is in the box. And so we can begin our boarding process. So let's do that now. I think I need to do, so this is what I'm going to do now. So with the airplane, well, I guess it doesn't matter because it is one class. So the payload can simply be done here with this. So weight and balance, load from sim brief. And so that's done there. And then we can go ahead and start boarding. Boarding. So today we're carrying 156 passengers. So we can do our pre-departure briefing. All right, so we are taking the 737 from Amsterdam to London Heathrow. For today's flight, we are using registration Papa Hotel Bravo Golf Alpha, which is the 737 from KLM. And we have drop weight of 42 tons. Passenger weight today is 13 tons and bag weight is 3.9 tons for estimated zero fuel weight of 59.8 tons. And our fuel for today, so we can see that here, your fuel weight today is 59.6 and our fuel is 68.1. I'm wondering if that was changed because I would have done that. Cool. Our flight level today is going to be flight level 240. And we're going to be using a cost center of 43. Hope you're not serving us peanuts. Have mercy. Really, Gavin? I'm not even sure you're getting anything on this flight because it's so short. It's only 200 miles. So you may not get anything at all. May not get anything at all. And so our alternate today is going to be either back to Amsterdam or we go up to Cardiff, which is on the west coast, and then we will come back to or go down to Paris. All right, so let's see what we got here now, and let's go to our routes. Perfect it, and we can do a request, and that should bring up the information that's here, and just have that in there per our information in the flight plan. Let's load that. So we have 59.6 and 66.5, which is what we have here. And transition altitude 3000. Cruise altitude is not flight level 300, so we'll change that. Let's execute that and do flight level 240. That will be our cruise. You'll be fine, Gavin. You'll be fine. All right. So designated path after Logan. So let's double check to make sure we have all the information we need. Let's go back to our charts. And let's check out. Flight level 250 is what is needed at Logan. We probably won't. What we could probably do is go flight level 260. Flight level 260, and then we'll have that restriction there at Logan. Right, 250, then 160. Perfect. So we have that sorted, and we're good to go. All right, let's see what our passengers are doing. They are boarding, looking nice. Very good. We can now turn on our seatbelt sign and start the For our taxi this evening, as you said, we're going to use runway 09 for departure. So we push back off the gate. And then we'll taxi via Alpha 13. Then over to, let's see, there is a taxi. There's actually a taxi chart that we need to use here in Amsterdam. Let's see what that says. Let's see, where is it? It's actually on the, it's on the parking stand. Yeah, here we go. So we'll push back off of Delta 49 and we will face east. With tail east rather, then Alpha 10 take Alpha 13. Then we'll cross over on Bravo, take Bravo all the way down to the end for runway 09 for a departure at November 5. For our departure today, at or below V1, we'll stop for any ICAS warnings or any fire warnings that will make, or anything that will make the aircraft unflyable. At or above V1, we will continue straight ahead, climb 3,000 feet, and we'll assess the situation. Once we cross up on the runway, close the thrust levers, then we will put the flaps down to flaps 40. And in the event that we have to remain on the tarmac, we will call and advise ATC as to what our next moves are. Once airborne, we'll determine what our situation is, and we'll then make a left turn to bring us back around to runway 06, which will be the closest runway. We have 11,283 feet, and once we land, we will come to a complete stop. Then we'll assess further if we need to evacuate on the runway, or we will taxi into the gate. Otherwise than that, we have a very good ship. The current weather right now in Amsterdam is 070 at 11, and few clouds at 4,200, temperature 06, 2.04, QNH 1017. 1017 is set. So let's check out charts for the departure. Departing today off of the Adrid 2 November. And for that, we will take off via runway 09 on a heading 084, make left turn, max 220 knots over to Alpha Mike 053, over to Alpha Mike 094, 090, then to Basi, then to Vala, then to Idrid, then flight plan route. For departure today, our top altitude is 6,000, so we get 6,000 in the box. And that is set. And our heading today is going to be 084. That is set. And we can run the preliminary load sheet information that will give us our performance. Runway 09 for departure. Let's import from aircraft, and we're using kilograms in this case. And QNH. So we will calculate. And so we have a flaps 5 setting, takeoff 61 degrees as our selected temperature, with speeds of V1 143, 144, and 145. So let's go to our route, takeoff, that's the index, perf, N1 limit. Takeoff 161 is our flex temp, give us 87.7, close enough. Takeoff, flaps 5, and we have a trim setting, CG of 24.7, 24.7. And that's giving us a trim of 5.02, which is close to enough. 143, 144, 145. That's set. Takeoff weight of 66.4 tons. Perfect. Let's go back to our legs page and we'll do the route data, request the winds. Currently, we're supposed to be landing with 4.9. Let's see what happens when we put the winds in. Request these winds again. While you're waiting on that, we go upstairs and we will switch over to APU. We can turn on pack. 110 passengers out of 156. So we are doing very well. Turn on the fuel pumps. Not the fuel pumps, turn on the hydraulic pump. Loading these winds. Execute. And now that the winds are in, we are landing with 4.9. So we are more than above our minimum required. So we are good to go. Flight plan is showing 244 nautical miles. Again, once we get over to, let's see what the weather is over in 090 So yeah, so we'll have to go around to remain 9 left. Not a problem. We are good to go. Very short flight, quick up and down. So we are good to go. LNAV and VNAV can be armed. Also arm our auto brakes. And we can put on our set the parking brake. And then we can run through our checklist. So before our checklist is flight deck and exterior inspections are completed. The pre-flight procedure is complete. IRS mode selected our nav. The nav and display switches are normal and auto. Emergency exit lights switches are on. Passenger signs are on. Window heat switches are on. Pressure identifier panel is set. Pressure identifier mode selector is auto. Remote control panel is set. 1-3. Oops. Oh, correct. It's not set. Let's get back to that. 145. So that's 145,084 and 6,000 set. Oxygen mask, regulator, and interphone are checked. Altimeters 1017 checked 3 times. Flight and navigation instruments are checked. Warning and annunciator lights checked. Anti-skid light is off. Landing gear down and 3 green. Thrust levers are closed. Speed brake lever is down. Detent. Engine start switches are cut off. Stabilizer trim cutout switches are normal. Fire warning system has been checked. Radios 1 to 2.8 set. And squawk is 2000. Radar is checked and set. Flight attendant briefing is completed. Flight departure briefing is completed. Logbook is checked, and fuel of 6.8 is set and checked and on board, and is sufficient for the flight. That is the departure. That is the 4-star checklist to the line. 1, we get the final load sheet from downstairs after all passengers on board, which is just now. So all passengers are finally boarded and seated. So we see Gavin. Well, unfortunately, this is not how Gavin looks, but Gavin is right. Look, Gavin. See, there you are, Gavin. So Gavin is seated well there beside the lady, enjoying his little nothing. So Gavin is enjoying himself right there. Very well. So Gavin, you're good to go. Ladies and gentlemen from the flight, this is your captain speaking. We are just about ready at the front up here. Ready to button up this ship, head over to London Heathrow. Flight time is 15 minutes from takeoff to touchdown. It's about an hour and 20 minutes. We try to give you a smooth ride. However, once you sit, we ask that your seatbelt is securely fastened about you. I'm here for your safety, and we ask that you pay attention to any announcements that the flight attendants will give to you. We're just about ready to push out the gate. Can't do that until everybody is seated, so we ask that you quickly seat yourselves, and we'll be ready in no time. Flight attendants, prepare the aircraft for departure. All right, so we are looking ready. Good. So let's close this door. And we'll get the aircraft ready. And we'll do the before start checklist below the line. FMS and A cards in forge entered. Stabilizer trim is 5. And so we'll set that real quick. Airspeed and N1 bugs are checked and cross-checked. Set of cross-checks 143, 144, 145, 145 box in the MCP. And so our before start checklist is complete. Good. Get these doors closed. Don't know if GSX handles that, but let's check. Let's release the ground power and the AC unit. And let me go ahead and turn on the anti-collision lights. And we'll request push and start. Okay, yeah, so GSX does cover the door, so we're good to go. Push back facing southwest rather. I hope so. Let's check this chart real quick. It is what it is. Wherever the pushes will be fine. So this is north, so southwest. Our tail is southwest that way, so I guess when we push, actually no, facing southwest, so we're good. So back onto Alpha 10 as we initially briefed, and then we'll head over to Alpha 13 and taxi. Great. So before start checklist, push checklist, doors are closed, hydraulic panel is set, fuel panel is set, flight door is closed and locked. Anti-collision lights are on, air conditioning panel is set, and transponder is now set to on. And we are ready to push. Interrupt, no. Oh, I know why. GSX does not remove the jocks.
Release parking brakes.
Alright, parking brakes are released.
Commencing push.
And start the timer.
All engines clear. Start at will.
Roger, all engines cleared, will start at will. Starting sequence is gonna be 2, then 1. I need to make my announcements. Oh, didn't do that. So I gotta reset that. Push to talk, but there we go. skip all traffic, KLM1005, push and start from Delta 49, expecting runway 09 for departure. All right, here we go. Start engine number 2. Let's pause the music real quick so we can hear the startup. Waiting for 25% N2. 23, 24, 25. Hear those fuel pump humming.
Parking brakes.
Parking brake is set. Start a cutout. Start engine number 1.
Unlocking gear.
I wish they would make the 737. The guys who work the 737 that they bend when they go on. It's easier for the Airbuses because they sit a lot higher. But these guys, they just bounce their heads all the time. Oh well. Wait for him to give it a wave. And there's the pin. And there's the wave. And we flash the light, let them know that we see it. Very good. Alright, start a cutout. So we'll do our after start flows. Then we'll run the checklist. Flight controls check. Rudder left, rudder right, ailerons left, aileron right, back, and forward. On the outside, just for folks who want to see it. Left, right, let's skip hold sign, left, right, back, fully forward. Alright, good to go. Let's run the after start checklist. After start checklist, generators are on, fuel heats are on, anti-ice not required, air conditioner panel is set, brakes, auto brakes RTO. After start checklist complete, taxi checklist, please. Claps. Live and running. Classic 737 flap sound. Flaps 5 green lights. Flight controls have been checked. Taxi checklist is complete. So we'll taxi light coming on, runway turn up light coming on as well. The outside looking good. And as we checked for our departure, we're gonna taxi Alpha 10 straight ahead, make a right onto spot 3, then Alpha 13, then follow 13 to Bravo, then take Bravo all the way down to the end. All right, guys, let's go. We are ready to push off. Parking brakes is released, and let's get in the UK, we don't use the full TARA until you get to the runway itself. I think for some reason that they're able to check it on their scope, so they would actually tell you don't. But you do turn on your transponder down here, so it's on, and you're able to transmit to the tower. We can now turn on the weather, so we can see if there's anything around us. Doesn't look like it, so we should be good. Should be a pretty quick and smooth flight going over to London Heathrow, so we're fine. Full power? No, not yet, Gavin. And we generally don't use full power on the aircraft because we're trying to save the engine, so we're good to go. All right, so it's going to be a slight left over to Alpha 13, so that's going to be up this way. Left is clear, right is also clear, so let's continue our taxi. All right, so this turn is actually pretty nice because I had to tweak the dead zone and also the sensitivity because I used to be just touching this and it would just turn. So that's good. It takes a little bit before it actually turns. That's great. All right, so we're going straight ahead onto Bravo. This is Alpha. Let's get a little bit more power in. Cleared left, cleared right. Beautiful morning in Amsterdam, albeit very cold. Minus 6 degrees outside. Yeah, not our cup of tea, but we're warm inside, so that's cool. Flight attendant, seats for departure, please. Ding the cabin. I remember when I visited this airport, we parked somewhere around here, yeah, and right over here there's a ledge that you could actually stand out and plane spot right over here. I don't think we can see the plane on this side, but there's an actual Fokker that's sitting somewhere on the ledge there. Ooh. This is why we can't talk and drive, right? So we're taxiing on Bravo, and we'll make a right onto November 5, which is not this taxiway coming up, but the next taxiway. And we can actually see this better if we go here and zoom all the way in. There we go. We're taxiing here, and this would be right on November 5. Interesting. here on November 5. Skip traffic, though, correction. KLM1005 lineup runway 09 via November 5. On our, before we do that, let's run through our checklist one more time. So our pre-departure clearance, well, our pre-departure briefing, we just remind ourselves that at or above V1, at or below V1, we stop for any warnings, fire warnings, or anything that with the aircraft on the flap. We'll put the flaps on the flat 40, and then we'll make a decision on if we need to continue with the flight, or we will stop or taxi back to the terminal. At above V1, we'll climb straight ahead 3,000 feet. We're well below our max landing weight, so we can determine what's happening with the aircraft, make any necessary adjustments, and then make a left turn and come back around to land on runway 06, which gives us 11,000 feet for landing, and we have that information available should we need it. Without any further ado, we can continue with our taxi and departure. All right, so we turn on our strobes and we do our before takeoff checks. The Livestream is 5.1 and the flaps are 5 and 5 green light. Windows closed and locked. Auto throttle is on. Recall is checked. Runway is 09. The departure is the Idrid to November, and the first fix is Alpha. Let's check it out here. Idrid to November, and the first fix is Alpha Mike 053. Takeoff briefing is completed. Flight attendants have been notified and they acknowledged. Radar and transponder is now set. CARA. Engine start switches are continuous. Exterior lights are now set. There we go. And the before takeoff check is complete. All right, so let's enter now. What is going on? Where the guy's going?
Approaching 9.
Is going to Edinburgh.
On runway 9.
Clear left and clear right. Alright. It's time on the brakes. Cable traffic KLM1005 takeoff from runway 09 via the Idrid to November. Pressure on the stick, and let's so 40%. Stabilize, toga, and start the timer. Thrust is set, 86.9, check. Eighty knots, check. Throttle hold. You want to rotate. Once you're ready to climb, here come up. Inside traffic, Skipple traffic, KLM1005, clear runway passing 1,400, climb flight level 260, join the departure, Skipple traffic last call. Alright, so we are going to try our very best to follow the magenta line. First is set. And we can now speed check. Flaps going up. So we're supposed to maintain 220 knots in these turns. Because we can maintain that while trying to hand fly the airplane. Again, it's so much easier to fly in the ooh. Much easier to fly in the Airbus. Transition altitude standard set. Let's take it up to flight level 260. As 6,000, and we can engage autopilot and A. And there we go. And we are off on our way to London, and we're checking out that we are actually flying the route that we're supposed to as depicted. Once we make the left turn from Alpha Mike 094, we'll go direct to Vala. Get a little airtime cut off, so let's go direct Vala. And we can follow 260. Yep, we're heading out to London Heathrow, flying up to flight level 60. Once we get about 10,000 feet, we turn back on the music as we enjoy the flight over to London. That's it, or we're turning back. Now, we're going to leave it there for tonight, Gavin. Gonna leave it there for tonight. The next flight is actually back to Amsterdam, but that's tomorrow. Probably I could do that stream tomorrow afternoon. We can see how that works. Alright, here we go, 10,000 feet. The landing lights coming off. The stars will just come off, and release the cabin, and there goes the wing light. Flight is tomorrow afternoon for the return to Amsterdam. These flights are actually part of Delta Virtual Airline is celebrating 25 years. The fleet that I'm a part of. Strange enough, I've been a part of this is the longest virtual airline I've been a part of. I've been there for just about 20 years now? Yeah, 20 years. 2024 made 20 years that I've been with this virtual airline, and so they're celebrating 25 years this year, and so they have a couple of flights that they're doing. Unfortunately, I missed the starting flights, that's the US flights, so they have about 4 legs or so in the US, and the next flight, well, they're connecting flights throughout the different continents, so we have flights going over to the UK and well in the European area now. So there was a Atlanta to London flight, and now I'm heading up to Amsterdam to position this airplane to head back to Amsterdam, then Amsterdam to Copenhagen. So hopefully we'll be able to get that done tomorrow as well. So stay tuned for another flight with us as we fly the 737-800 up to London Heathrow and back. but the return flight will be tomorrow. Alright, so we'll take some music now as we head over to London Heathrow. Really a short flight over the English Channel, head down. So we're just going to prep ourselves to make sure that we are ready for the arrival. Top of descent is in 86 nautical miles, so it's a really short flight. So we don't have much time to lollygag. So let's look at the arrival real quick. So we're on the Logan 2 hotel, and as far as the weather is concerned, the arrival weather is 090 at 4. Temperature is 04, altimeter is 1017. So let's set 1017 here. That's set. And we're doing the ILS runway 09 left. That's there, and then the Logan 2 hotel, we are arriving via Logan, so we'll descend across Logan at 2,500 feet, 25,000 feet. Then via Sabre at 16,000, and Brownsville, Waesto, then cross Lambourne at 7,000. Then we will continue. There is actually some instructions there. Initial approach from Lambourne. So we will take Lambourne and we'll fly direct to 34 nautical miles from Lambourne at 6,000, then make a left turn and join the localized runway 1, 009 left. 09 left identifier is India Alpha Alpha. Frequency is 110.3 on a final approach course of 088. We put 088 in our course. 088. Put 110.30 on my side, and then Lamborn VOR is, oops, wrong thing. The Lamborn VOR is 156. So we'll put 156 on the FO side. Then we can check the same distance here that we're supposed to be 12. Once we're 34 nautical miles from there, we should cross that above 6,000 and continue our descent. So once we're at 39.5, but this is from a different VOR. However, once we get there at 34, we should be at or above 6,000 feet, but we'll continue our descent because pretty short turn left, we've got to be down to 3,000 feet once we're 10 miles out. So we'll continue our descent as we see fit. Alright, flight level 3260 is where we're at now. And we have to do our performance. Let's do our performance check. For landing runway 9 are left. Runway is dry, import details, landing with auto brakes 1, all operational.
Welcome to ACARS.
And it is 1018. And we will calculate. And so landing with auto brakes 1, we will require 7,956 nautical, 7,956 feet with an available landing distance of 11,000. So plenty of runway. Plenty of runway. Hopefully we're not going to float. And so current weather is 090 at 1, temperature 5, QNH 1017. So we have that already set. And then we need to check that the arrival decision height is 279, I believe it is. Correct. 279 is our decision height. So we set that here. Go 279 set. Auto brake. Perfect. So we're all set up for the arrival, and it's a good thing when you do this early because you don't want to be fidgeting again. Situations happen where you have to do a missed approach and all this other good stuff. So you try to get certain things set up and your mind wrapped around it just in the event that you have that. So we can run to the missed approach. If we do have a missed approach at London Heathrow, we climb the 3,000 feet straight ahead onto passing 1,580 or a distance of 0.0 from the threshold, which is here. And then turn left on the track 035 and then continue as directed. We hope that we don't have that, but if we need to, then we just do a quick, once we put the throttles forward, then we'll just turn on a heading of 035 once we pass 1,500 feet. Flying the 737 as well, it is good practice that when you are flying your headings, you always turn your heading bug to the direction that you're flying. In the event that something happens and you have to disconnect the AV, or if you have to select heading, the aircraft is already pointing in that direction. So 15 minutes into the flight and we are 30 nautical miles from our top of descent. Pretty short flight, pretty short flight. So we're almost there, guys. Let's get a wing view real quick. have to move Gavin to the back of the airplane. Basically get all the water he wants from out of here. Gavin is snoozing. Okay. We'll wake you up. We'll probably put a firm landing so we wake you up, Gavin. Unlike the Airbus, once the aircraft reaches the top of the descent, it will begin its descent automatically. It's different in the Airbus where you have to actually initiate the top of this, initiate descent, either managed descent or an open descent. The Boeing, it just automatically does it once it gets to that point. Providing that you did change the altitude in the MCP. Now, if you don't change the altitude in the MCP and pass the top of the descent, then the aircraft is going to remain at that altitude. So you try to make sure that you set the aircraft up once you're sure. It's something that you have to time in a sense, because you don't want a situation where you get bumped by some turbulence or some change in the air and it lifts you up or drops you down, and then you try to climb back up. The aircraft will climb to probably what it was before. However, things can happen. So you just want to make sure that you're timing it correctly. You set it to where you need to be. So we are now 16 nautical miles from top of the descent. So we will begin descending shortly. And it'll be a gentle descent. Gentle descent because we are literally 1,000 feet away. So what we could probably do is we'll set this to 16,000, which is what we should be at Sabre. I don't think I put it in there though, did I? It was supposed to be automatic. Let's see. Sabre should be at one. Yeah, so Sabre's at 160, so we good. Gavin wants fruits on the flight. You're asking a lot for a very short flight, Gavin. You got to take it up with management. I'm just here to fly the plane. That's all. I'm just here to fly the plane. Must enjoy yourself. I hear you. I hear you. 264. We can actually set that up here. So let's do fix Lamborn, and we want a heading or a radial of 264, and we can put 34 nautical miles there. Cool. So 264 as well. So that will give us that line as well. 264. Cool. Top of descent, engines rolling back, and we begin our descent into London Heathrow. Yeah, I'm the captain, but I don't own the airline. So you'd have to set up with the airline, right? We got land up ahead. So let's check how the aircraft is going to do this. So Logan is 1.3, and we're descending through flight level 252 to cross Logan at 250. And so the aircraft does that very nicely right on board. And then now we descend to flight level 160 to cross 160 at Sabre. And is there a speed restriction? No, there is no speed restriction, but we have to be below flight level 250 knots at Weasel. So let's set the information here. Didn't complete that. on the performance. So VREF is 152. So 30, 152, 130, 11030 IIA, fix IAA, 11030, and we have 088 at 15 miles and 088 at 8 miles. How long before we land? Landing in approximately 12 or so minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We have begun our descent into London Heathrow. Current temperature is 5 degrees outside. Winds coming from the east, very light winds. Heavy on the ground at in another 12 or so minutes. The flight attendants prepare the aircraft for arrival. Once again, thank you for choosing KLM. We're the Airlines. We see you again on the next flight. Alright, so this item came on, it actually came off, so let's do the approach checklist. So the approach checklist, descent checklist, altimeter is 1017, that's cross-checked. Radios and bow out bugs have been cross-checked. The radio altitude is bow setting is 279. Airspeed bugs have been set and check, and it is 152. Approach briefing is complete. Auto brakes is level 1 and that's set. Passenger signs are on. Pressurizer pilot is set. Serial lights are on. Recall is checked. Descent checklist is complete. 16,000 feet. Let's continue our descent down to 7,000 to cross land board at 7,000. And in doing so, we will now reduce our speed to 250. The aircraft is descending beyond flight level 150. We are supposed to begin slowing down, and the aircraft is struggling because of the rate of descent it's doing. We can do one or two things. We can do a vertical speed descent, or we can allow the aircraft to use level change and slow itself down to that speed. But we'll see what happens just now. Allow the aircraft to go ahead and fly. My lovely co-pilot. Alright, so we're now going to decelerate to 250 knots. So the rate of descent is going to be decreasing. At least it should. There we go. we're gonna have to help the aircraft. So let's do level change. So that will change the descent rate. And we want to put it back to 250 knots. Make that 240. And now we're below 300 knots. Let's go ahead and add some speed brakes. And that sound that you hear is very normal, because what's actually happening is that we are disrupting the flow of air, which is going to cause the aircraft to actually vibrate. So if you ever on a 737, any airplane as a matter of fact, and you realize that we're on descent close enough to the airport, and you realize that the aircraft is shaking, it's just vibrating, a controlled vibration that is, it is because the pilot would have put out the speed brakes to help slow the aircraft. So as we see that the speed brake has come, the speed is coming down quite rapidly. Let's stow these speed brakes now and allow the aircraft to continue descending. Once it achieves the 240 knots, you will see that the rate increases a bit further. We may have to extend it again so that we can get down, help the aircraft to get down to 7,000 feet. And that also, so the speed brakes coming out helps slow it down, and it also increases the rate of descent. So we see here the rate of descent is increasing, 1,000 feet per minute, 1,100. So we're trying to cross land board at 7,000. We want to maintain 250, 240 knots as well, because we just passed Waesto and we should have been there below 240, 250, which is where we are now. And we have to cross Lambourne at or below 220 knots. So we do need to slow down a bit more as well, trying to get the bleed off some airspeed and bleed off some altitude. So ever so often I will bring this down, but of course that's going to decrease the rate of descent. Below 10,000 feet, let's get the exterior lights coming on, start switches going on, wing lights coming on, and let's ding the cabin. So we're at 229 and descending. Lambourne is at 2 knots, 2 nautical miles. We're still pretty high, but that's fine. Make an announcement. Heathrow traffic KLM1005 is overhead Lambourne. We'll continue to make left base to join the localized runway 09 left. Heathrow traffic. Alright, so Heathrow is on the side over here somewhere. Here we go. Let's see. It's actually ahead of us here. There's an aircraft above us. We actually have another aircraft behind us that's going to be coming into Heathrow. Not hearing them saying anything, but that's okay. Alright, we crossed Lambourne. Let's continue our descent now down to 6,000. Speed is now 220. And let's descend down to 6,000. Start speed brakes. Radio check, radio check. Thank you. Just gotta make sure that we got it set. 7,000 to go. Below 7,000 feet, so standard local set 1017. $6,000. Pro checklist, flight to navigation instrument is checked. Time switch has been cycled, altimeter is 1017, and the cross check 3 times. Pro check is complete. So we are 14 miles away from Lamborn, heading in the western direction. So once we get to 34 nautical miles, we should be around 3,000 feet because we have that. We have that reference point on the chart. So we should be above 6,000, but we're gonna descend because once we make that left turn, it's gonna be pretty quickly for the localizer, so we don't want to be too high. Of the aircraft that's coming in, there's a Delta that's northwest. So we may have to extend that. There he is. So that's him there. I know there's a lot of clutter on here, so I could remove this space. So he's in player space. Alright, let's get on this head down to 3,000 feet. Double change. Heathrow traffic, KLM1005 is a beam runway 9 left. Descending out of 3,000, we'll make left base on the localizer runway 09 left. We'll call left base. Heathrow traffic. Alright, so that Delta is now 10 miles out and he's actually on there, so that's perfect. So we wouldn't have to extend the arrival, which was cool. Let's see if we can see him. No, we cannot. 10 miles out. So we're around here. See him. Out this way. So we should be to our panel. Not seeing him at all. Oh wow. Alright, vectoring ourselves now, make a left turn. Another 4522, thank you so much. The KLM1005 making left base for runway 09 left. Will call establish on the localizer. Will call left join the localizer. Keto traffic. Alright, so we're 11 miles out. We can begin slowing now to 180. Speed check, lap 1. The localizer is alive. Go to 180. Ups 5. Okay. 5. Music as we concentrate for our landing. Localizer is captured. On the approach. Gears coming down. Keto traffic KLM1005 on the Aylex runway 09 left. It's 9 miles final. Alright, Waesto captured. Reduce speed now to final full speed 152. Flaps 15.
$2,500.
Flaps 30. And what's going on? Clear to Keto traffic KLM1005 6 mile final runway 9 left. Keto traffic. Landing checklist. Landing gear down green. Flaps 30 green light. Speed brakes arm green light. Engine touch for this are continuous. Landing checklist is complete. This is going to be interesting for me because this is the first time that I'll be where we're taxiing to park. It's on the other side of the airfield. Never been on that side before, so good experience for me. Heathrow traffic, KLM1005, short mile, 4 miles from runway 9 or 11. Heathrow traffic. Check.
Approaching minimums. 200 minimums.
Continue.
100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
Brakes up. 2 in reverse. Out. Manual braking. And we'll exit off of this taxiway. One thing I did not do in this flight is that I was supposed to brief how we'll depart the runway. So that's crazy. I didn't do that on this one. All right, let's check the airport. Heathrow traffic, KLM1005, clear runway 9 or left. Heathrow traffic. Oh, look at that. There is a South African Airways right there. All right, so we're going to the other side of the airport. So let's make a left here. And then we take Alpha. We take Alpha and come across to the other side because we're going to Terminal 4. Clean up the aircraft. Woo! Going in the grass. What are we doing now? Music. So let's go ahead and taxi right across and out to Alpha. Aircraft is cleaned up, and let's go ahead and clean up the lights. Get the APU going. Not a bad landing at all. So we'll taxi on Alpha, and then we're gonna make a right on Alpha here to November 3. Actually, no, we can take Alpha 1 or November 2 Echo, and then cross via Sierra 1. anybody likes the Concorde, you can see the one that's stored up on the Heathrow. Alright, we're gonna come to a stop here because we want to make sure that we're not infringing anybody's departure. Heathrow traffic KLM1005 holding short at the opposite end of runway 27 left. Is there anybody departing runway 09 right? Original departure 09 right, crossing runway 09 right at November Bravo 1 KLM 1005. So let's go ahead and cross runway 09 right quickly.
Approaching, 27 left.
Clear left, clear right.
On, runway 27 left.
Let's get our parking up. We're going to terminal 4. Let's see. 421. Get on runways. Get all these lights. Heathrow traffic KLM 1005, clear on runway 9er right. Heathrow traffic. Gate 421 is where we're going, so let's see where we're at. 421 is inner side. Once we get up here, we'll turn in here somewhere. Be a victor, so it's right on the inside here. Like I said, I've never been on this side of the airport before. Most of the flights that I've done into Heathrow are normally either Delta, American, or Speedbird, and those are normally at Terminal 5 or Terminal 4. So this is actually new for me on this side. Let's let it off. Plus 1 and 2. Down. A little bit more. Stop. Good job. And Set up parking brake. Parking brakes is set. And we get the OK. APU on the buses. And we can shut off. Flight time is 44 minutes. And block time is 1 hour and 8 minutes. So we're actually a little early, which is good, which is pretty good. So that is all right. Turn off the transponder and we can run through the parking flow. Chocks on. Here we are on stand 421 here at London Heathrow Terminal 4. So let's go ahead and request the boarding. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We are at London Heathrow. The blue is almost like KLM, but it's some. There we go. Yes, we added. Let's see it pop up here, right there. Transfer to ground power. Let's run the parking checklist. Parking checklist. Shutdown checklist. Parking sign. Passenger sign. All electrical system is on. Solid is a cutoff. Transponder is standby. Articulation license off. Fuel pumps are as required. Window heaters are required. Propane is off. Anti-ice is off. Electric hydraulic pumps off. Air conditioner panel is set. APU is on. Auto brakes off. Parking brake is set. Shutdown checklist is complete. There we have it, guys. We are here. Thank you so very much for joining me on this reposition flight for KLM1005 from Amsterdam to London's Heathrow Airport. As I shared earlier, this is different for me because normally when I land here at London Heathrow, I am on the other side of the airport, which is down here. That's Terminal 5C, 5B, 5A, and Terminal 4 is across, Terminal 3 is across here. Delta and American Parks, Virgin Parks over this side. Then you have all of this is for Speedbird, and other airlines will park all around here. Apparently, KLM parks on Terminal 4. So flying KLM for the first time on the channel and coming to London Heathrow with KLM is the first time coming over to Terminal 4. So Terminal 4 is on a satellite by itself, as we see on the charts. So it is something different. We have Terminal 4 all by itself on the charts, away from everybody else. So we have A, B, C, and then Terminal 3, Delta parks over here sometimes, the other airlines. So there we have it. That's going to be the end of our flight for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining on this short flight over to London Heathrow in the PMDG 737-800. As stated earlier, it is a reposition flight for the next leg in the celebration for 25 years for Delta Virtual, the VA that I've been a part of for a long time. If you want to check it out, I'll put the link in the chat so that you can check out the airline. Very nice airline. You want to learn how to fly, you want to understand certain things about aviation. It is a good airline to be a part of, first airline to be a part of. You would never get bored because there's so many other flights that you could fly. You can choose from flying Delta or flying the Sky Team partners, KLM. Of course, it's an entrance test, so you have to take a little quiz to see where your knowledge is at, and then you will be placed into a particular program, either stage 1, 2, or 3. From there, you fly your flights, do some tests, fly some check rides. It's nothing hard, so don't think it's anything that you can't do. Once you're interested in aviation enough, you will be able to do what you have to do. Just learn what you have to learn and then fly your flights, and you'll be fine. 25 years is a very long time to be in business, in the virtual world, that is. And so I celebrate with them as we celebrate 25 years of existence. On to the very next time. Hopefully we can do this tomorrow on the flight down to Amsterdam. So stay tuned for that. And of course, if you haven't already done so, click the subscribe button if you're liking the content. And once you click the subscribe button, click the notification bell as well so you never miss the next time that we go live. And of course, there's also a Discord available. The link is in the chat already. Feel free to join and interact with me. I would greatly appreciate it. All of this helps the channel, guys. You don't have to if you don't want to, but it's always nice to know that the channel is doing something for you. You're enjoying the information, you're enjoying the flights as well, and it just helps the channel to grow. Share the link, share the channel, enjoy, and until the next time, do take care of yourself. Have a good night.